Hey Abby, this is Adrian Gomez. Apologize for not getting this to you sooner. I'm going to get into a couple of things that I think are going to help you definitely throw harder. We're going to start with our lower body. I'm going to work with your back hip. It's about 138 degree squat into your back leg. And I know you're stepping in, but as you go off of your back leg or step in or do a shuffle or do a crow hop from the outfield, this back hip needs to stay at a lower level. So something that I think would help a lot is just staying in a lower position. Your hip is going to have to drop to about this line, if not a little bit lower. I'm just moving at a lower center of gravity. It's going to help get this hip inside a lot earlier. From this side, you can see how your hip in relationship to your back foot gets inward, and your knee actually turns inward this way. So as you push, you want to actually hold tension on this back leg this way so our hip can get further down the line. And I know that seems weird, but you're actually creating a lot more tension to push down the line when your knee holds back a little bit further. This is what we call a collapsed back knee. And what happens is this back leg, let's see if I can see, your knee kind of collapses as you throw this ball. It's collapsing back here. So that's out of the back leg. So power of the back leg is definitely something that I want you to work on. That should correlate with our online training. There's drills to fix that off the top of my head. Box drops, 212 squats, walking torques. There's a lot of other things that are on there. That's just off the top of my head. That moves us on to our front leg. So this is something that definitely is going to help you. As you plant, your foot is facing this way. So it's not straight up. I want it to plant a little bit more towards your target. Your knee's internally rotated. It's going inward. And what I want to see is, let's look at this real quick. Measure off of your knee to your ankle. Watch what happens when you throw the ball. So your knee locks out correctly. We want that to happen. But your knee has to shift completely to get over the ankle in order for you to throw that front side. So while it gets loaded well and it retracts and it pops back into a straight front leg, which is what we want, you're also delaying your back hip rotation just because your front knee is not set up in the right position. Your foot's not set up in the right position. So you do have an internally rotated front knee, and those will have corresponding drills to fix it. Off the top of my head, box drill 1, box drill 2, walking torques. Those are going to help straighten out that front side. That leads us into the next one, double angle at foot strike. So as you set up that front leg, we're going to measure your back hip. It's about 77 degrees. And what I'd like to see happen is you step for a longer period of time from, let's see if you're even a foot further. It goes up to 93. But I think you could have traveled a lot longer. Now, part of the reason why you're traveling a lot longer, or you're not traveling as long as what you should, is your arm is completely separated before you plant. Your arm should not be at the top of its motion until you get at your plant foot. So you've separated from your glove way earlier than you should, and that's why your arm's hanging out too long. And then as you throw through that ball, you're throwing with mostly arm because you don't have the timing of your lower body and your upper body together with your arm. You're throwing now just with your arm because it's been up for so long. So that's definitely something that I want you to work on. I'll get to that later, but I just pointed it out. All right, so that leads us into stacking. So the stacking has a lot to do with your head staying over that back foot and your hip going inward past your heel. So let's see. Lower body's pretty good, but I think you're not holding onto the ball long enough. You need to give yourself enough time to get your lower body going first until that lower body goes through, and then your upper body comes through last. So stacking is definitely something that you need to improve on. That's going to create a lot more hip-chest separation, which everyone talks about. And you're doing a pretty good job. Your hips are on target, which is good, and your upper body's back, which is not bad. It could be better, though. So off the top of my head, as far as stacking, marshals, walking marshals, hooks, those are going to help keep your upper body back longer and help you stack. So that leads us into our front glove. Our front glove, as you throw, your front arm is completely straight. So it's hard to pinch into this shoulder blade as you rotate when your arm is so straight, because it's got to go from straight to bent to pinch. And so I'd like to see you not straighten your front arm, but to keep it bent, because that's going to make it a lot easier just to pinch into that shoulder blade and get that upper body rotated. But a lot of this has to do with just letting your arm stay long for too long period of time. So you're separating out of your glove way too early, and you're not even on the ground, but your arm's straight. So then that takes a little bit longer in order to pinch into that shoulder blade and then bring that chest through. So definitely have something to work on with your front glove. So front glove, definitely something I want you to work on. You can also put a 2-pound ball in your front glove while you throw the ball. That helps a lot as you rotate through. So that's going to help a ton. All right, so now let's look at high elbow. I'm going to look at your shoulders and evaluate the connection of your shoulders to your elbow. It's a little bit low, and the reason being it's really low is because right now, let's take your shoulders here. Your elbow is quite elevated above that shoulder right now. So your elbow is elevated, and by that time, your arm's up for quite a long time. In order to get this through, a lot of it has to do with your front knee. If your front knee was stabilized, you'd just be able to drive through and push through. But because that front leg isn't stabilized early enough, you can't just drive with your chest and pull down. So you're missing that. A lot of it has to do with lower body, but it also has to do with, having a high elbow here, just pinching. So that upper body, that high elbow, a lot of it has to do with walking marshals, walking marshals, 45-degree knees, final arcs, box drill ones. That's going to help pinch that shoulder blade. The bands are going to help as well. All right, so that leads us into our chest extension at release point, somewhere in there. I'm going to take a measurement off of your hip up to your shoulder, about 36 degrees. I'd like to see it about 50 degrees. So your chest extension needs to drive forward, more forward over your front foot. Part of that reason might be that front knee, just fixing that internally rotated front knee, because it is a big obstruction under your front leg, and then you can't drive through with that chest. So chest extension, definitely a weakness of yours. So go ahead and go on the video of the library, and you'll be able to see that. And then the last thing that I have for you is an arm fly out, which I don't think you have right now, because that elbow is low. And you do stay behind the ball pretty well, but it is low. You're throwing with mostly arm. That front glove is going to help turn your body this way. It's going to help you. You can see it right now, how your front elbow, your glove is so low. It's hard to rotate your upper body when both of your shoulder blades are not equal. When they're symmetrical and equal, you're going to rotate a lot better around it. So I hope this was helpful. I know that this is not a game throw, but we want to fix our ideal throws, and then our game throws will be better. Let me know if I can help in any other way. and I'll upload this to YouTube right now.